Hearts like static, the electric connection between Princess Leonor and Sofia. The microphone crackled with interference as 18-year-old Princess Leonor stepped up to address the nation on her birthday. For a split second, the audio system produced nothing but static, that distinctive white noise that makes hearts skip beats during live broadcasts. In that moment of technical chaos, something extraordinary happened. From the audience, her younger sister Sofia caught her eye and made the slightest gesture, a tiny movement of her hand that said everything: "You've got this." The static cleared, Leonor smiled, and delivered what would become one of the most memorable speeches in recent Spanish royal history. That moment of static became a metaphor I couldn't shake. Sometimes the most powerful connections exist in the spaces between words, in the interference that reveals rather than obscures truth. The relationship between Princess Leonor and her sister Sofia operates on frequencies that most people can't detect, a constant undercurrent of support, understanding, and shared purpose that crackles beneath the surface of every public appearance, every royal duty, every moment of their extraordinary lives. Their hearts beat like static, full of energy, constantly transmitting, creating interference in all the best ways with the traditional expectations of European royalty. And in that static, in that beautiful noise of two young women redefining what it means to be royal in the 21st century, Spain found something it desperately needed: hope. The frequency of sisterhood. Static isn't random noise, it's composed of countless signals overlapping, creating something chaotic yet oddly comforting. The relationship between Leonor and Sofia operates on similar principles. Born 2 years apart, they've grown up in overlapping orbits, their individual frequencies creating a harmony that's more powerful than either could achieve alone. From their earliest public appearances, observers noticed something different about these royal sisters. Unlike the formal, practiced interactions typical of royal siblings, Leonor and Sofia displayed genuine affection that seemed to generate its own energy field. Watch any video of them together and you'll see it. The way Sofia's eyes seek out Leonor's for reassurance, the way Leonor's posture softens when her sister is near, the microscopic communications that pass between them like radio signals in a crowded spectrum. The static of their connection first became apparent during a 2018 Easter service when 7-year-old Sofia's fidgeting threatened to become disruptive. Instead of the sharp corrections or ignored behavior typical of royal protocol, 13-year-old Leonor simply reached over and took her sister's hand. The fidgeting stopped, Sofia settled, and the service continued without incident. But something had been transmitted between them, a frequency of understanding that said, "I know this is boring, I know this is hard, but we're in this together." That moment established a pattern that would define their relationship. Leonor as the steady signal, Sofia as the creative interference that kept that signal from becoming monotonous. Together, they created something neither traditional monarchy nor republican alternatives had offered Spain, a royal family that felt genuinely familial. The sound of growing up royal. The static intensified as both girls entered adolescence. Teenage years are difficult enough without the added pressure of representing an entire nation, but Leonor and Sofia navigated this period with a connection that seemed to strengthen rather than strain under pressure. Their hearts beat like static, were regular, unpredictable, but always in sync with each other. Leonor's transformation during these years was remarkable to witness. Early photos show a serious child who seemed to carry the weight of her future responsibilities even in elementary school. But as Sofia grew older and their dynamic evolved, something shifted in Leonor's frequency. She began to smile more naturally, laugh more freely, and display the kind of authentic personality that had been carefully controlled in previous generations of royals. Sofia's influence on this transformation cannot be overstated. Where Leonor was cautious, Sofia was bold. Where Leonor was diplomatic, Sofia was direct. Where Leonor carefully measured her words, Sofia spoke from the heart. The static between them created space for both to be themselves authentically while still fulfilling their royal duties. Their school years at Santa Maria de los Rosales provided the perfect laboratory for this dynamic to develop. Away from palace protocols, they were simply Leonor and Sofia, big sister and little sister navigating homework, friendships, and the ordinary challenges of growing up. Their classmates describe a relationship that was protective but not possessive, supportive but not suffocating. Teachers noticed how they complemented each other academically. Leonor excelled in languages and history, Sofia in mathematics and sciences. During group projects, they would naturally divide responsibilities according to their strengths, creating presentations that were both intellectually rigorous and creatively engaging. The static between them generated innovation, the interference pattern of public life. As the sisters began taking on more public responsibilities, their static-like connection became a crucial asset for Spanish monarchy. Public appearances that could have been stilted formal affairs instead crackled with authentic energy. The interference pattern of their interaction created moments of genuine humanity that connected with Spanish audiences in unprecedented ways. Consider their joint appearance at the 2019 Princess of Asturias Awards. 14-year-old Leonor delivered her speech with characteristic poise, but it was the moment afterward that revealed the true nature of their bond. As applause filled the auditorium, Sofia reached over and squeezed her sister's hand, a gesture so natural and unguarded that it reminded everyone watching that these were real sisters, not just royal symbols. The static between them became particularly valuable during the COVID-19 pandemic. As Spain faced one of its darkest periods in recent history, the royal family's virtual appearances provided stability and comfort to a frightened nation. But it was the informal moments, Sofia making faces in the background of Leonor's video calls, their shared laughter during family broadcasts, that truly resonated with Spanish families experiencing their own lockdown challenges. Their hearts beat like static during these difficult months, generating the kind of background energy that made isolation feel less isolating. Their connection reminded Spanish families that even in separation, bonds could remain strong. Even through screens, love could transmit clearly. The frequency of leadership. As Leonor matured into her role as heir to the throne, the static between her and Sofia evolved into something more sophisticated, a leadership dynamic that utilized both of their strengths while maintaining their essential connection. Sofia's role became less about following and more about amplifying, less about supporting and more about complementing. This evolution became particularly evident during Leonor's 18th birthday celebrations. Rather than overshadowing her younger sister, Leonor's coming of age seemed to elevate Sofia as well. The static between them had generated a new frequency, one that allowed both to shine while serving the larger purpose of modernizing Spanish monarchy. Sofia's increasing confidence in public settings reflected this new dynamic. No longer content to simply stand beside her sister, she began engaging more actively with crowds, asking questions during royal visits, and bringing her own perspective to official events. The interference she created wasn't disruptive, it was enhancing, like adding depth to a musical recording. Their joint interviews during this period revealed the sophistication of their communication. They finished each other's sentences not because they thought alike, but because they listened so carefully to each other's frequencies. They disagreed openly about minor preferences while supporting each other completely on major values. The static between them had become a language unto itself. The international wavelength. As both sisters gained international exposure, their static-like connection proved valuable on the global stage as well. Foreign diplomats and young royals from other countries were struck by the authenticity of their relationship. In a world where royal siblings often seemed distant or competitive, Leonor and Sofia offered a different model entirely. Their multilingual abilities created new frequencies for connection. Watching them switch between Spanish, Catalan, English, and French during international events, always ensuring both were included in conversations regardless of language barriers, demonstrated a consideration for each other that extended beyond mere politeness into genuine partnership. The static between them became a bridge not just between their individual personalities, but between different cultures and traditions. Sofia's more informal approach helped international peers feel comfortable, while Leonor's diplomatic skills ensured proper protocols were maintained. Together, they created an environment where both respect and warmth could coexist. European royal watchers began studying their dynamic, trying to understand how two young women had managed to modernize monarchy without abandoning its essential dignity. The answer seemed to lie in their static-like connection, constant communication that allowed for real-time adjustment and mutual support. The sound of service. Perhaps nowhere is the static between Leonor and Sofia more evident than in their approach to royal service. Traditional monarchy often emphasized individual duty and personal sacrifice. These sisters have redefined service as a collaborative effort, their hearts beating like static to generate energy for causes they support. Their charitable work demonstrates this beautifully. Rather than dividing patronages strictly between them, they often appear together at events, bringing different perspectives to the same causes. Leonor might deliver the formal remarks while Sofia engages more casually with participants. Their static creates an environment where both official dignity and personal connection can flourish. During visits to schools, hospitals, and community centers, their synchronized yet distinct approaches become particularly evident. Leonor asks thoughtful questions about policies and procedures while Sofia focuses on individual stories and personal connections. The interference between their styles creates a more complete engagement than either could achieve alone. Their environmental advocacy shows similar patterns. Leonor speaks eloquently about climate policy and international cooperation while Sofia demonstrates hands-on commitment through beach cleanups and conservation projects. Their hearts beat like static, generating energy that powers both intellectual understanding and practical action. The frequency of future. As Spain looks toward the future, the static connection between Princess Leonor and Sofia offers something unprecedented, a royal partnership that models the kind of collaborative leadership the 21st century demands. Their relationship suggests that strength comes not from isolation but from connection, not from competition but from cooperation. Leonor's upcoming reign will undoubtedly benefit from Sofia's continued support, but the dynamic they've established goes beyond traditional royal sibling roles. Sofia isn't just the spare to Leonor's heir, she's a full partner in reimagining what Spanish monarchy can be. Their static generates possibilities that neither could create alone. Their influence on Spanish youth culture is already evident. Young Spaniards increasingly see collaboration rather than competition as a model for success. The static between the royal sisters has become a frequency that resonates throughout their generation, promoting values of mutual support and shared achievement. International observers predict that their partnership will influence other royal families as well. The static they've created, this constant, energizing connection, offers a blueprint for modernizing monarchy while maintaining its essential purpose. The beautiful noise. There's something profound about static that most people miss. We think of it as interference, as something to be eliminated or ignored. But static is actually composed of countless signals, radio waves, electromagnetic frequencies, the background radiation of the universe itself. It's not empty noise, it's the sound of everything happening at once. The connection between Princess Leonor and Sofia operates like beautiful static. Their hearts beat with the frequency of shared experience, mutual support, and collaborative purpose. The interference they create with traditional royal expectations isn't destructive, it's creative, generating new possibilities for what monarchy can be in a democratic age. Their static has become the soundtrack of Spanish royal modernization. Every shared glance, every supportive gesture, every moment of authentic sisterhood transmits a signal that reaches far beyond palace walls. They're broadcasting a new frequency of leadership, one that includes rather than excludes, that collaborates rather than commands. The transmission continues. As this article draws to a close, the static continues. Right now, somewhere in Spain, two young women are preparing for responsibilities that will shape their nation's future. Their hearts beat like static, full of energy, constantly transmitting, creating the beautiful interference that makes transformation possible. The microphone static that began this story was just a technical glitch, quickly resolved and forgotten by most observers. But for those who understood what they were witnessing, it became a metaphor for something much larger, the way authentic connection can cut through the noise of expectation and tradition to transmit something entirely new. Leonor and Sofia's static isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's getting stronger, more sophisticated, more purposeful. They've learned to harness their interference, to use their connection as a source of power rather than distraction. Their hearts beat like static because they understand something fundamental about leadership in the modern world. The strongest signals are often the ones that sound different from everything else on the spectrum. In a world full of clear, predictable transmissions, Spain has found something better in its royal sisters. Beautiful static, crackling with possibility, full of frequencies we're still learning to hear. And that static, chaotic, energetic, utterly authentic, might just be exactly what the future sounds like. The interference pattern continues. The frequencies remain strong, and the static between two sisters who refuse to be anything less than themselves keeps broadcasting hope to anyone tuned in to listen. In the beautiful noise of their connection, Spain has found not just its future queens, but the sound of what comes next.